Yeah, there's no time to waste, no time to waste, no time to waste, no. There's no time to waste, no time to waste, no time to waste. So you better do the damn thing right. You only got one life. You better do the damn thing right.
Welcome guys to the ShoeBenderPod podcast. How we doing? I hope every single one of y'all having a great weekend. It's been a great weekend for sports. Honestly, a great week for sports. Just a great time. If you're a sports fan, you've really been liking it. You've really been enjoying it. And it's only going to get better, y'all. It's only going to get better. To start off the podcast, I would like to talk about the South Carolina Women's National Champion. They beat UConn. This is South Carolina's second women's championship. They won one back in 2017, and then they won it again this year. Shout out to the MVP A.Edwards. You did your thing, girl. But it was a great team win. I mean, they dominated UConn. You don't do that. You know, a lot of teams don't do that. It's really hard to beat a UConn team, no matter who's on it. I know they have the number one draft pick probably in the WNBA, which is going to be P.Buckner. She's really good. She's an assassin. She's a killer, man. She's good. UConn, I mean, they reached their 16th straight Elite Eight, which is just nuts. And then they reached their 14th straight Final Four. That's how great this team is. Anytime in the tournament, you know you're going to have to run through UConn to either win the championship or just try to get there. They're legit on their LeBron shit. They're so good. Their coach, he doesn't get the praise that he does, probably because it's like in a women's sport. But to me, that's crazy. Like anybody that knows sports, what this guy has been doing, Gino, over there in UConn has been amazing. Huge shout out to that program. It just wasn't their year this year, but they'll be back. They'll be back. I mean, from those stats that I just read you, they'll be back. They'll definitely be back. But yeah, big shout out to South Carolina and their program for their second national title. Congrats to all y'all, which leads to the men's national championship, which was Kansas and North Carolina. It was Kansas' first appearance since 2008 in the championship game. If y'all don't remember, Chalmers hit a game-tying three to send that game. Mario Chalmers, the point guard that played with LeBron in Miami, the one that they picked on all the time. Chalmers, he hit the game-tying three, and the other team was Memphis, led by J.Calipari and D.Rose. Yes, D.Rose, like before he got, before the whole ACL stuff. It was a great game. It came down to 3 points to the very end. Kansas came out just fast-paced in the first half. They came out fast-paced. They started getting into foul trouble. Once they got into foul trouble, the game really slowed down, and that really helped out North Carolina. North Carolina was able to jump on them when that happened. They pounced on them to a 16-point lead going into the half. And in the second half, Kansas didn't let their foot off the pedal. They came straight for North Carolina, and they didn't let up. They didn't let up this time, man. They really gave it to them. Pause. And it was a great game. It was a great game. It was definitely an instant classic game. It wasn't like North Carolina and Villanova was, but it's up there, North Carolina had a really good shot at winning the game at the end because of Kansas. One of Kansas' players, he stepped out not once but twice. He stepped out of bounds, and the shitty part was that he was on North Carolina's side. So North Carolina didn't have to use one of their timeouts to, advance the ball. They were right there. They did use a timeout to just try to make a game plan to see what was going on. They ran it. They executed it great. Maybe a little bit too great because they screened their own guy to the ground. And North Carolina put a shot up to try to tie the game, and they just airballed. But man, it was such a great game, man. You always feel bad for the kids. They're very passionate about it. Nobody wants to lose. It's a championship game. That's always the worst part, seeing the young men just really down, sad. But that's the way it goes. There has to be a winner, there has to be a loser. Congrats to Kansas. It was their fourth national title. North Carolina was going for their seventh. They were going for the seventh national title, but it didn't work out for them. It didn't work out for North Carolina this year. They'll be back. Both of these programs are always in the dance. So shout out to Kansas, that whole program, getting you guys' fourth national title. I know you guys will be back. Which brings us to the Zags. Oh man, I mean the Zags had talent this year. They definitely had talent. They probably had the number one pick in C.Holmgren, but they run into the same. I feel like they run into the same problem every year, and every year in the tournament they always run into a team that's a lot more physical and big down low. Pause. I feel like that's where the Zags always lack. They always usually lack in big men and then just the physicality. When they run into these big programs, that's the Achilles heel for the Zags. The same thing happened in the championship game against Baylor last year. I mean, they just punked them. Like, let's just be real. Like, they punked them down low. The Zags couldn't do anything down low. They couldn't get no offensive boards. They couldn't get no defensive boards. They just got ran through, man. I feel like the Zags, because they get great skill players. I mean, they get skillful players. Like, they know how to recruit. It's just they need a little bit more dogs there. I just don't feel like they have that. And like I said, I feel like they don't really have a big man or two. One could get you so far, but having two, it really levels you out. And but we'll see where they go. The Zags always recruit well. They're always in the dance. So we'll see how it goes for them next year. Which brings us to our next topic, which is, we're going to switch topics into football. Seattle Seahawks, man. I'm a huge Seahawks fan. Have been even before we got Russell and all that stuff. But speaking of Russ, we already know what happened there. He got traded to Denver. We got three really good players back. Well, two. Locke hasn't really proven too much yet, but he showed flashes. You could tell he's like a locker room guy. A lot of the locker room really likes Drew Lock, which is good. You want your soldiers to fight for you. And I feel like Noah Fant, he's been in the top 100 voted by the players a couple times already, and he's young. He's a very young tight end. And John Snyder, if you know John Snyder, he loves his tight ends. He went after Jimmy Graham. He got Greg Olsen. We just re-signed Disley. So now having Disley and Fant, I mean, I feel like that's a great duo. I like that duo. Disley reminds me, he's not as good as Greg Little. George Kittle. I don't know why I'm saying Craig. George Kittle. He's not just as good as George Kittle, but same kind of player. They love to block and they could catch. They're really clutch. I really like those two guys. I feel like they're going to do very well together. We got Shelby Harris from them, which was their best interior lineman. Their best edge rusher was Chubbs, but we didn't get him. But, it's okay. I like what we got back for him. The draft is really, really deep, and a lot of skill players, linemen. The quarterback class isn't too strong. But if we were to try to get a quarterback, or if we went for one, I'd really like them to get D.Ridder from Cincinnati. I feel like that kid would be a great fit, and he's a winner. He's a proven winner. I mean, he was winning in Cincinnati. I mean, he ran into Alabama, and I mean, they got smacked. But the kid kept getting up. He showed a lot of toughness. During that game. I'd really like to see D.Ridder in a Seahawks jersey if we could get one quarterback out of that bunch. But the one player that really stung when we lost him was Bobby Wagner. Man, I really did not want to lose B-Wags, man. I just feel like he's so valuable to the Seahawks. And of course, he goes and signs with the LA Rams. I don't give a damn about, he went home. Nah, man. That sucks. We have to see this guy twice a year now, at least for 5 years, because that's what his deal was, I believe. And man, that sucks because he's so good. So now we have to worry about Donald, the best defensive lineman. Jalen's, he's a toss-up, when it comes to corners. Corners always switches who the best corner is every year. Like this last year was obviously Trayvon Diggs from the Cowboys. But Ramsey, he ain't no slouch, man. He's right up there. You ask him, he's going to say he's a number one, period, which is fine. You're supposed to have that kind of confidence. And then now you have literally a super robot at middle linebacker. Bobby Wagner is the best middle linebacker in the game, has been consistently. He has been the best linebacker in the game, and it's not close. Some people are going to say T.J. Watt. Nah, T.J. Watt's only had 2 good seasons. That's it. And he plays for the Steelers, so of course he gets more media because it's the Steelers, the history, his tradition. Bobby Wagner should have multiple defensive players of the year, but they don't give it to him because he's been playing up in Seattle. They're not going to give Seattle that kind of noise, at least not right now. But we'll get back up there. I know we'll get back up there. Like I was saying, the draft is pretty, it's stacked, man. There's a couple guys that I really like for Seattle to go after, especially with the high number 1 pick. We might fall, we might trade down or something, but I mean, I really like these guys that I've been looking at. I've watched them play too, and I just feel like if the Seahawks hit on any of these guys, they'd be great. They'll be good. One of the guys is J.Davis from Georgia, the defensive tackle. I feel like he'd be great in Seattle because we really need a pass rush. Pete Carroll loves his pass rush, man. He's a defensive guy. He's a defensive guy just like Bill Belichick. They're always going to go for the defensive player first, and then if the offensive players that they want are still there, they'll go for them. But they're built on defense and running the ball. That's how they think, Belichick and Pete Carroll. Except, Pete Carroll's approach is more like of a Jedi, and Bill Belichick's more of a Sith. I mean, we all know that. But yes, Jordan Davis, Derek Stingley Jr. from LSU, the corner, Drake London, I mean, USC. We fight on. I'd really like to see him there, but I doubt he'll be there. And then any receiver from Ohio State, Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave, man, out of those two, I'd want Olave. I feel like he showed a lot more promise and just clutchness, all that stuff when he was at Ohio State. At least the games I was watching, I really like Chris Olave. And then if we were to get a lineman, I'd really like E.Neal from Bama. I feel like that'd be a great left tackle or right tackle. I feel like our interior is good. We got the center fix, which we needed. We grabbed him from Kansas City. We got Jackson still there, and then we got Lewis still there. So, I mean, those are 3 great, and not great, but they're really good, offensive linemen. The only thing we need to work on is our left tackle and our right tackle. Obviously, we would need a corner, which Stingley, I feel like he'd be perfect. I know a lot of people are going for Sauce Gardner. I like Sauce, but I don't see the same things as Sauce Stingley. People were saying that Stingley, fell off after his freshman year. That whole team fell off after that freshman year. Honestly, they all left. I think they had all seniors that year. It's the year Joe Burrow was there and they won. I really like Stingley though because any corner that played receiver before they made their switch to corner, they've had great success in the NFL. Trayvon Diggs is one of them. Richard Sherman's one of them. And I'm pretty sure there's more, but those are the first 2 that pop into my head like right away. And it really helped them out. It really helped them out because they know the whole route tree. So in every formation that you're at, they know what every possible route that you could run based off that formation. That's big time. That really helps you out as a defensive lineman. I mean, not lineman, just as a defensive corner. But any of those guys, I feel like they'd be a great for Seattle. So I hope we hit on at least one of them. Hopefully 2, because we should have a second round pick. So we'll see there. Speaking of, wide receivers, Stephon Diggs just got a deal over $100 million. I don't think that was a good deal, honestly. I like Diggs. He's a great receiver. Definitely top 5. Stephon Diggs is definitely top 5. But, I mean, you just paid Josh Allen, and then you just paid Von Miller. Like, where's the rest of the money going to go? You're going to have really, really little money to work with. So you're pretty much hoping. For me, the Bills win all in this year. If they don't win this year, that door is closed. It's closed. You can say whatever you want. Windows in NFL close so fast. It's not even funny. I mean, look at the Seahawks. Everybody said they were going to be the next dynasty for like the next 10 years. It only lasted 3. And then everybody started taking off. Why? Because there wasn't enough money to go around. Once you pay Russell Wilson, you can't pay everybody else. That's the way it goes. That's why I don't feel, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, I don't feel like he's going to have any more MVP seasons. I think it's done, especially losing Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is that great. I think he's so great that taking him out of that offense is going to, they just won't be the same. They'll never be the same. I get it. Aaron Rodgers is great. But you take Devontae Adams away, and I just don't think he wins another MVP. I really don't. I just feel like Devontae Adams is that great. He's going to make, I wouldn't be surprised Derek Carr won MVP. Like, he made Derek Carr look amazing at Fresno State. That was Devontae Adams, man. Straight up, I think he's that great. There's only like 3 receivers that could do that. Devontae is one of them. Cooper Kupp, of course. Cooper Kupp, I mean, he literally won the Super Bowl for the Rams, man. That catch on the Bucks, and then that last drive against the Bengals, that was all Cooper Kupp, man. He's that great. And then the other one, I'll throw DeAndre Hopkins in there. D-Hop is that good. I really think I think those 3 guys are really that good that they just make their quarterback look better than what they actually are, man. Like, these guys are great. They're getting open, catching the ball, and they're scoring. They're doing their job, and they do it great. But yeah, and then sticking to the receivers, hearing a lot of rumors about DK and Debo. There were some rumors even about A.J. Brown from the Titans getting moved around. So, I mean, the NFL, I mean, I really like what's going on in the NFL. The reason why I like it is because it's starting to be more like the NBA. And what happens in the NBA, man? A lot of star players go to different teams. That's the way it goes. They keep their storylines going. That's the way to keep the names in the media, man. And I mean, the media gobbles that up, which is great because it is good. You know, when the fan, as a fan, you hear Russell Wilson got traded to the Broncos. You're like, whoa. It turns like literally the world upside down. I mean, look at when Tom Brady went to the Bucks. I mean, it was huge, man. It's a huge deal. Everybody knew that when all the Bucks needed was a quarterback. And they ended up getting the greatest of all time. Tom Brady's the greatest of all time. It's not even close. He literally owns all the records and he owns all the hardware. He's the best. He's the greatest ever. I don't give a damn if he threw a pick in the Super Bowl. 7 rings beats any. This guy is competing against franchises now. He's not competing against quarterbacks no more. That's how great he is. I mean, he has 7 rings. He has more than franchises have. You put the Mannings, both their rings together, he still has more. Like, he's an anomaly, man. He's an anomaly. But, yeah, there's been a lot of movement in the NFL lately, man. A lot. And when it ends, speaking about the Broncos, I mean, people think that Russell Wilson, like, is going to be great and turn that whole franchise around. All this is, man, that division got a lot better too. And literally every quarterback in that division is good. Some people are, proclaiming that Mahomes is the next GOAT. I personally don't think so. I don't think he's that good, but it is what it is. I really like Burrow, man. If there's anybody that reminds me of Brady, it's Burrow. That kid is a certified killer, man. I really like Burrow. He's a pocket passer. He stays there. He's just so good. I really like Burrow, man. And I feel like he's had a chip on his shoulder. Mahomes, I don't really feel like he's had a chip on his shoulder. I feel like just since the get-go, he's been proclaimed the best one. I mean, he was on Madden right away, the cover athlete. And then they did the dual cover athlete, the past GOAT and then the future GOAT, which I think is just dumb. Don't compare a guy that has 1 ring to 7. Ever. Like, it's so dumb, dude. I mean, that's one of the main reasons why I stopped watching, like ESPN and Fox, because it's just kind of like, I just got tired of dumb takes, dude. I got tired of it, and I was like, you know what? I know I have great takes. People like my takes. I like to do, debating with people. It's really fun, especially with people that know their sports. It's awesome. It's one of the best things ever. If you know sports, you're gonna find a lot of common ground real quick with a lot of people. Just straight up. It's like the ultimate icebreaker. Who's your team? So and so. Bam. There you go. Just started a whole hour conversation just because we know sports. It's an awesome way, man. I like it. But yeah, that in the NFL, man, like, I just feel like that division got so much better. So much better. I mean, the Raiders, they got Devontae and they got Chandler Jones. They just got better. You got Crosby on the other side. You got Chandler Jones to worry about. Then you go visit the Chargers. You got Khalil Mack now, Joey Bosa, J.C. Jackson, Darwin, man. And then you got Kansas City, who's been dominating that division and that conference, honestly. I mean, they've been to what, 3 straight AFC championships? I believe that's what it is. 3 straight. I mean, Russell didn't go to a better situation. Anybody that thinks that Russell went to a better situation, I mean, it's blasphemy, bro. You're delusional. He did not go to a better situation. The weapons are not better at the Broncos. Jerry Jeudy is not better than Tyler Lockett or DK. He's not. And neither is the second option for the Broncos. Who is it, Stunton? Nah, man. And then let's go to running backs. Melvin Gordon? I'll give you that. Melvin Gordon's good. Seattle's got 2. They got Carson and they got Penny. If those 2 guys stay healthy, they are the most dangerous 1-2 punch in the NFL. We've seen it. That year before Chris Carson had surgery and then Penny tore his ACL, I believe it was like 2 years ago. We were looking so good. So good. And then we lost both of them and the momentum went down. Last year, Carson goes out because of his neck. He has to get surgery. He's out for the rest of the year. Penny comes in. He has flashes, right? Don't be sleeping on DJ Dallas too, because I really like DJ. I like DJ. But Penny, I mean, the last 4 games, I'm pretty sure he led the NFL in rushing. And I mean, he was like breaking 100 yards every game. So, and he was a first rounder. People forget he was a first rounder. People were calling him a bust, blah, blah, blah. But that's why I'm glad that Seattle brought him back on a 1-year deal. I feel like that was a great, great signing by Seattle. And like a prove-it deal. Like, hey, you come in, you do what you got to do, we'll pay you. So yeah, me personally, I don't think, doesn't mean I'm right. People are going to get mad and all this. I'm just saying my opinion, man. And it doesn't make me right. I'm just saying what I feel, and I'm just being transparent with you guys. I just don't think he went to a better situation. I hope he does good. I hope he never wins a championship, but I hope he does good. I don't wish nothing bad upon Russell. I mean, he brought us a Super Bowl. He did what he had to do. Besides calling audible and give it to Marshawn Lynch. It's whatever's though. But he did what he had to do. They got us a chip. He never had one. So Seattle will forever be grateful for that team. Because not only did it, give all the fans, the diehard fans from Seattle, what they wanted, but it also created a whole new batch of fans. People call them bandwagons. Man, it's just a wave, man. A lot of people out there, they're big fans of the 49ers, Steelers, and Cowboys. What do all those 3 teams have in common? They all have like 6 Super Bowls. So don't be talking to me about bandwagoning. Don't be talking to me about that, man. Same thing with like you hear Warrior fans trying to call like LeBron fans or the Laker fans bandwagon fans just because LeBron went there. Nah, man. The only bandwagon fans in the NBA right now are legit the Warrior fans. I did not see one single Golden State Warrior jersey until after 2015. And after 2015 is when I started seeing Warrior jerseys. And then when KD there, I saw more KD Warrior jerseys than I did like Steph or Clay, which to me I thought was crazy. It's like how you gonna have this guy outselling your two guys you drafted? But it is what it is. Sticking in basketball, man, I'm gonna get roasted on this one. We're talking about the Los Angeles Lakers, man. My boy OBJ, gotta miss the playoffs this year, man. You know, not used to this. I'm really not. I'm used to always just looking forward to June. I don't even think about playoffs. It's like, oh, we'll be in the chip. So I'm in uncharted territories right now and not being in the playoffs. It was just a bad year, man. It was a very bad year. The Westbrook experiment, it didn't work. It didn't work. I was really hoping it did because I like Westbrook, man. I like how competitive he is. I like that fire he has and that chip. But it just didn't work out with us. It didn't work out. We tried it. It just didn't work. Right now, we're trying to trade him. From what it sounds like, we're trying to find a team to trade with. I heard Charlotte was a big one. We'll see. I just really hope we could. I really want Damian Lillard. If there's any way we could trade Russell Westbrook to the Blazers for Lillard and whatever, I'd be so down with that. I feel like Lillard would be so good with LBJ and AD if AD stays healthy, because that's another big question mark that we can't hold against Westbrook either. AD was gone the whole year. I mean, why does this guy still wear low tops? You've twisted your ankle like 5 times. Literally. Even when we won the championship, he twisted his ankle in one of those games. Like, he needs to switch to high tops, man. It's a problem. It's a problem. Yeah, I honestly have been hearing about rumors about him even maybe getting traded. Which, honestly, from the looks of it, it's like you already got your ring. Get rid of him. Get someone that's reliable, man. We could probably imagine having Lillard and Bradley Beal in LA. That'd be awesome. That'd be great. Because LeBron is best when he plays with shooters. It don't matter who the shooters are. If you could shoot, LeBron could get you there. Look what he did with the 2018 Cavs team. Look what he did with the 2007 Cavs team. Those teams, they had shooters on there. Except, the talent wasn't there. Let's be real. The talent wasn't there. But they had shooters. So that's why I feel like if they were to trade Westbrook and AD, if they could bring those, if Rob Pelinka could somehow figure out a way to get Beal and Lillard to LA, I feel like that'd be awesome. But the only thing is that I keep hearing a lot of Heat rumor talk with Beal, and it would kind of make more sense because he's from Florida. I mean, he played at Florida University. He was a Gator. So I could see him going there, you know what I'm saying? Chop, chop. And then Lillard, he's an Oakland boy. He's from the Bay. He's Cali. He's got the Cali swag, the Oakland swag. Oakland ain't that far from LA. So I feel like that's why I could see Beal going to the Heat and then Lillard going to the Lakers. But we'll see. We'll see how this offseason goes. I mean, everybody knows how the offseason in the NBA is, man. So a big name's getting traded. Which, speaking of trading, the 76ers here, they're I don't feel like that Harden experiment is gonna work either. I feel like Harden's kind of like checked out in a way, man. I don't see him with like that same like passion when he was like with that Houston. I mean, he must have really liked them strip clubs at Houston, man, because ever since he left Houston, he hasn't been the same, man. Let's be real. Like, for real. Let's be real. He has not been the same since he's left Houston. But we'll see what goes on, man. Like, we got the playoffs coming up here soon. I will be watching it. Just because, I still love basketball. I'll still watch it. There's just certain teams I don't want to win. I'm going to obviously root for Miami and the Cavs. Your boy LBJ. I'm always going to root for them. I'm always going to root against Dallas and Golden State. I can't stand those two teams. The Spurs. Really hate the Spurs. But I mean, we got some really good matchups going up here. I mean, you're gonna have Dallas and Utah going at it. That's a great matchup. But I would give it to Dallas. Luka Doncic, man. I think that kid's, man, he's gonna be an all-time great. It's soon, but it's there. Luka is gonna be great. He's gonna be a Hall of Famer, like, for sure, hands down. And then we got Golden State against Denver. That's gonna be a solid series right there. I'm gonna really like that series. The Joker against Steph. Honestly, I would give it to Denver. Being biased because I hate the Warriors, but honestly though, that's a great matchup. I could see that round going to Game 7. Honestly, if Jamal Murray was there healthy, it's over. Denver's winning that. Not even close. But it's just gonna be hard to see who's gonna guard the Joker on the Warriors. I mean, I know Draymond's a great defender. I mean, you take Draymond out of that Golden State Warrior team's nowhere near the same. But I like Denver. I feel like they're very tall, they're lanky, and they're athletic. And then with Golden State, they haven't really found their rhythm bringing Klay back yet. But I don't expect them to. He's been gone for 2 seasons. And then the emergence of Jordan Poole really took over when Klay was, excuse me, at the burp. Jordan Poole really took over and held that spot down while Klay was gone. I mean, he did a great job. Anybody as a Warrior fans, you know Jordan Poole, and he's been playing great. I mean, I'm not a Warriors fan, and I know it. He really stepped up big time. Jordan Poole, he took his opportunity and he ran with it, which would be kind of nice because, Klay, I know your daddy played in L.A., dog. Come on down, bro. I'd be so glad to have you in a Laker jersey, bro. I think that's tampering, but it's all good. And then the 1 seed, which is Phoenix, and then 2 seeds Memphis. Man, they got that juice, man. Anybody that's been following Memphis this year, people always talk about chemistry, right? And they talk about you have to have chemistry to win. Memphis got that chemistry. They are having fun. And they've been having fun all season. They're young, they're hungry, and they want to prove themselves to everybody that we're here. Just like the Warriors did back in 2014. They started making that noise in 2014. Then they took the next level the following year and won it. Memphis is coming. Then me personally, I feel like they're already here. But when it comes to championships, I don't know. I feel like they're way too young, and they have really no experience in the playoffs, like at all. The only guy that really had experience, they traded him back to the Warriors, mainly because he didn't want to be there and didn't want to play for them. But experience does matter in the playoffs. It really does. Look at LeBron James. There's a reason why he won 8 straight. Experience matters, man. It really does. Because he went against a lot of really great teams. He blew up a lot of great teams just because they couldn't get past him. LeBronto. Which brings us to the East. Miami's the number 1 seed. Man, that's such a great franchise. Miami's such a great franchise. I mean, what Pat Riley's doing, that's amazing. Eric Spoelstra, I mean, it took them a while to get there, but they're there again. They know how to build teams. They really do. Speaking of LeBronto, they're going to be going against the 76ers. Obviously, I'm going to give that to the 76ers because I don't feel like there's anybody on Toronto that could guard Embiid. Honestly, he's going to bully them down. And then you got Boston against Chicago. You guys remember those days? There were some great days back in the day. But I'm definitely going to give this to Boston. I feel like they're clicking at the right time, and Chicago isn't clicking at the right time. They're really stumbling. They were number 1, number 2 in the East. Now they're 6th. They were only a couple games away from being in the play-in. So I definitely give it to Boston. And of course, Boston. It's all. I mean, they just go. I don't know what it is. It has to be the freaking damn leprechaun, man. Like everybody says. Because anytime you have to go play in Boston, man, you might as well just chalk the game up. Boston's gonna win. I hate playing there. There's one place I freaking hate playing is in Boston, man. I cannot stand the Celtics, man. I really can't. I really can't, man. But I feel like they'll definitely pull out of that matchup with the Bulls. The defending champs, the Milwaukee Bucks, which I feel like everybody's being super disrespectful to this team. Everybody's talking about the Nets. Literally every other team besides the defending champs. Y'all forget that they're still the champs. Until they get knocked out, they're still the champs. They're still defending. So I give it to the Bucks until they get knocked out. But I just feel like they're being extremely disrespectful, but not only the media, but just like everybody. Everybody's like forgetting about that the Bucks won the championship last year. They're still there, man. They're the number 2 team, sorry. And in the plains in the East, you're gonna have Atlanta going against Charlotte, Brooklyn against the Cavs. Cleveland has been giving Brooklyn problems, man. They really have. So people are just gonna say Brooklyn because KD and Kyrie, but the Cavs they gave him problems this year, man. They really did. I'm still gonna give it to the Nets just because Kyrie. I mean, man, he's so good. You got probably the two best mercenaries ever on the same team. I mean, these guys are high level assassins. KD and Kyrie they're lethal. Oh, man, they're just so good. They're so great. Me personally, Kyrie's the best point guard in the game. A lot of people are going to say Steph. That's fine. I've seen Kyrie bust Steph's ass all the time when they go heads. All the time. I don't even think it's close. I wouldn't want to see Kyrie and Steph one-on-one because I already know who's going to win. It's going to be Kyrie. Steph will win some games, but out of 10, I feel like Kyrie would win 6. Honestly. Kyrie's just so good, man. So good. He'll dance on you, embarrass you, and then he'll make the shot. And then literally just walk off. He don't stare you down. He don't do the whole shaking thing. He just goes back like, you know what I did. And then you got LaMelo going against Trae Young, man. I feel like that's going to be a real good matchup right there. I like that matchup. Just because those two guys right there, they're going to go at it. Charlotte, I just feel like they're too young and, like I said, experience. So I'm going to give it to the Hawks winning that one. My apologies. I forgot that I didn't mention the West playoffs play-in tournament. But in the West, it's going to be the Pelicans against the Spurs. Fuck the Spurs. I'm going to go with the Pelicans. And then we got Minnesota and the Clippers. You got Patrick Beverley going against his old team, man. You know he's going to be ready. You know he's going to have that team ready. You know he's going to be talking all that shit. He's going to be getting in try to get in all the Clippers' heads. So we'll see what happens there. Me personally, just because I feel like the same thing with Minnesota. I feel like they got good chemistry. I would give it to them. Because the Clippers don't have Kawhi. If the Clippers had Kawhi, it's hands down I'm taking the Clippers. But Paul George could only do so much. I mean, he could drop 50, but they're probably still going to lose because the whole team has to do good. In the playoffs, everybody has to play their role. Everybody. If one role player ain't on the same page as everybody, you're going to lose. That's the way it goes. In the playoffs, it literally is from top to bottom. If you can't do your job, you're going to lose. And or if you're injured, if you're injured, then that really, there's gonna be some injuries in the playoffs. That's gonna turn a lot of series around. That's just the way it goes. That's why you have to have that luck of not getting hurt to win a championship. Once you get to the championship round, everybody's hurt. Everybody knows that. Everybody's fighting through something once you get to that championship round. But that's what makes you a champion. The ones that can endure all that pain and still push through to be able to be called the world champion. And yes, the playoffs, it's here. It's going to be go time. I think the play-in tournament start in 2 days. I think on Tuesday. They start on the 12th. So we'll start seeing what's going on there. I'm gonna be watching all these games so that way I could come back and talk to you guys about it. It's gonna be a great time in the playoffs, which brings us to the UFC. Man, the UFC had such a great card this weekend. It was such a great card. The place I was at, they were actually I got to miss pretty much the main two fights I really wanted to watch because they wanted to watch the boxing fight with Ryan Garcia. I don't know, it wasn't my TV, guys. Don't shoot the messenger, man. But I heard that Khamzat was an instant classic with Gilbert Burns. I mean, I seen the aftermath, and yeah, you could definitely tell that those guys had a scrap, that they had a war. I'm waiting for UFC Plus to drop or ESPN Plus to drop those fights so that way I could rewatch them. But it really sucks because I really wanted to watch the UFC card. But, in my house, I don't want to step on nobody's toes. And but I mean, King Ryan did his thing. He did his thing like he was supposed to. He was out of the ring for almost 2 years. And I mean, and not even to front, because I'm not a Ryan Garcia guy, man. I tell my guys all the time, like my boys, my crew, I always tell them, I'm like, once that guy ends up having to fight like an actual dog, he's gonna lose. It's a wrap. He's gonna lose. I don't think he's that good as everybody promotes him to be. I mean, I don't know how many times in fights that I've seen this kid in that he like grazes the guy. He doesn't even connect fully, and then the guy falls on the ground. Like, it's like, come on, bro. Come on. You be hanging around with Jake Paul too much, bro. Paying these dudes off and getting some great actors, bro. Because I've seen these punches, man. They show him in slow-mo. And he's literally barely grazing these guys. Like, literally grazing. He's not hitting them. He's grazing them. And they're falling down to the ground. I just don't see it in that kid. But for the first time, like, that I've watched him fight, he actually looked really locked in. He looked good. He was using his jab. Like, he looked comfortable. I felt like with when he had Reynoso as his coach, he was thinking too much. Because you could see it. Like, I feel like he was way more free in this last fight. Like, it was more like, I'm boxing. I'm not letting you tell me how to box. I'm boxing. And, yeah, he looked good. He used his jab. He was quick. Didn't get the knockout, but he won, unanimous decision. He looked good, though. But there's a lot of killers in that division, man, so good luck. But back to the UFC. So, yes, I did hear that was an instant classic. I did have Khamzat winning. I just feel like it's his time. And a quick backstory on this guy. I knew this guy was going to be really good when I seen him pick up one of his opponents. He walked him to his corner and slammed him on his head in front of his corner and just ground pounded him. I've never seen that before ever happen in the UFC. And he won. And ever since that day, I just knew. I was like, yo, this kid's different. Like, he's different. And then he's got all the confidence. He's saying he's the king, and he's coming for all the kings. And y'all don't know who's gonna know y'all gonna know who the real king is. I mean, he's coming. But this last fight also too, I was seeing, then I get on Twitter a lot too, just to see what other people are saying. And a lot of people were saying too that that they felt like he didn't put on that performance. That he didn't have a great performance, that he shouldn't be fighting top fighters because he's not there yet. And this is the context like that sucks because I didn't get to watch that fight. I really wish I did watch that fight, but like I said, I know I'm gonna watch it once ESPN Plus drops it. But from the sounds of it sounds like it was a great fight, an amazing fight. But a lot of people are saying that Khamzat might have bit off too much that he could chew. But you got to remember, Gilbert Burns is number 2 ranked at that division. He's good. He's not good. He's great. He ain't going to be no pusher. Once you start getting past those top 5s, you fighting for real. Like, they're the best. But Dana White did say on the Pat McAfee show that if Khamzat won, that he was going to fight Kobe next. So, man, I'd really love to see that fight. If that happens, I'd be so happy because I feel, styles make fights. And I feel like that'd be a great style fight right there. The styles match up perfectly. So I'd really love to see that fight. The co-main event was Sterling and Jan, which I was really upset about because I did watch some part of that fight, and I honestly felt like Jan whipped that ass. I don't feel like it was close. I think the only thing that really helped Sterling out was that those 2 takedowns and then the control. He had a ground control for a very long time. I think he had ground control for like 10 minutes compared to only like 2 or 3 from Jan. But Jan murdered him in the total strikes. Like, it wasn't even close. And I mean, the people at the end of the day are always going to tell you who won and who the champion is. It don't matter how many times you pound your chest or post that you're the best. The people are always going to tell you who it is. Don't matter who you are. The people will always tell you who the champion is. And last night, the people were saying that homeboy got robbed. And I believe it. Because even the president, the CEO, Dana White, said the judges got it wrong. They asked him about it too, if they're going to run it back for a 3rd time. And Dana White honestly said, why not? Why not? Because if the main guy is telling you, pretty much the matchmaker is telling you, hey, you're going to have to fight this guy again. You're going to have to fight him again. You know Sterling ain't trying to fight Jan again, man. You already see he tried to call out steroid boy, PED boy, Dillashaw. I mean, like, why? Like, you won the first one by luck because the guy he kicked you in your damn head. He kneed you in your head. Mocos. In the second fight, you won a split decision. Anytime it's a split decision, they're always going to give it to the champion. Because it's a 50-50, you're flipping a coin. That's what a split decision is, basically. He's the champ. You didn't knock him out. That's what happens when you don't knock out the champion. That's what happens when you don't finish the champion. When it goes to the cards, they're always going to give it to the champion. It don't matter what sport it is. Anybody that's watched combat sports for a long time, I know y'all shaking your heads like, yes. Nodding your head saying, yes. That's what happens. That's why you can't let it go to the cards. You have to finish it. You have to finish him. Jan didn't get it done. But like I said, a lot of the internet, the people were saying who the real champion was, and it wasn't Sterling. So we'll see what happens there. We'll see if there's a trilogy going on next. Me personally, I feel like they should. But we'll see what happens. I don't think Sterling's trying to give this guy another chance, man. They'll probably have him fight Dillashaw next and Peter fight someone else, and then they'll probably fight again. But that's what it is. And then the main event, we got to see Alexander the Great, man. Volkanovski, man. He put on a show. He embarrassed the Korean Zombie. And when I mean embarrassed, I mean legit embarrassed. Like, there's levels to everything in this life. No matter what it is. There's levels to mentality. There's levels to cooking. There's levels to cleaning. There's just levels, man. There's levels to everything in this life. And Alexander is just in a whole nother level right now, man. He's in a whole nother stratosphere, a whole nother zone. Yeah, he's actually got to the point where he's saying that he actually might move up a weight class, which would be badass too. I'd really like to see him in another weight class because, I mean, he literally just mopped his whole weight. I mean, he hasn't lost in 21 fights. He's on a 21 fight win streak. He's dominating. He's that dude right now. So we'll see. I hope that he does move up to try, maybe, just a different challenge. Any great person is always going to want to challenge themselves. Always, at all times. Not to prove you wrong, it's to prove them right. And what they want to prove to themselves that they are as great as they say they are. And so I feel like Volkanovski is probably going to move up. And it's going to be really excited to see him. I'm going to be really excited to watch him. He always it's always an entertaining fight, man. This guy's really good. He can strike. I mean, when he strikes, he throws mean. You know how, like, when Adrian Peterson back in the day, how he would just run super pissed off, like just mad as hell. I feel like that's how Volkanovski is with when he throws, man. It's just bad intentions every time. He swings so hard, but precise, I mean, he made the Korean Zombie look like a Korean Zombie, bro. Like, straight up. I mean, he pieced him up, bro. Pieced him up. Anytime the ref has to step in mid-fight and just be like, yo, this is enough. Like, you can't do this no more. It means you did a great job. And so big shout out to Volkanovski. Also for, the Korean Zombie for just keep on fighting. Always shows heart. He always shows heart, man. So big shout outs to him, man. You're doing a great job, champ. You really are. Which brings us to the Masters, which happened today. Shout out to who is it? Scotty Scheffler. Man, he just became the number one golfer in the world, man. He finally got that green jacket. His caddy, the caddy he was with, he's actually won 2 before that. And now he just won one again. So obviously the guy knows what he's doing. He's great at his job. But, nothing to take away from Scheffler, man. I watched it. This guy's really good. He is good. Man, it's just so crazy how great these golfers are. But it's also crazy to see that they make the exact same mistakes we make. Like when putting wise, you see I've seen I was seeing these guys hit it, and then the same thing happened to me. That happens to me on the golf course. These guys are pros. They're scratch golfers. And golf is just such a hard sport, man. People see and they're like, it's golf. It's easy. Nah, man. It is not. Golf is one of the hardest sports probably the hardest sport I've ever done. Because I was at least decent at the sports that I was in. And golf is just so hard. It's a whole different game, man. You can't baseball swing the club. Like it's hard, man. There's just your fundamentals really have to be super sharp, man. And even if they're super sharp, like I said, you're seeing these pros making the same mistakes, average people make. It's a hard sport, man. It really is. It's not easy. Golfing is really hard, but it's also really fun. If you haven't been golfing, I recommend it, man. Excuse me. I recommend it. It's such a great. It's a fun sport. It really is. I asked some people to come golf with me with times too, and they're like, "Oh, well, I suck." So do I, bro. I'm not trying to join the tour. I'm just asking if you want to come golf. It's a great time. It really is. Anybody that golfs, just for fun or just likes to golf, you know what I mean. You get to meet really great people. The courses are always really nice. Most of them. Let's not get crazy. Most of them are really nice. Augusta's beautiful, man. Watching the Masters today and just watching, seeing the Augusta, seeing the scenery, hearing the birds in the back. Beautiful. Just a beautiful layout. I could just imagine what that country club looks like. Just beautiful, man. Morikawa and who was it? McIlroy and hole 18, man. Out of the bunkers, man. It was these shots were back to back. McElroy's was a lot better just because his was longer. But either way, man, for both of them to have back to back hits like that out of the bunker, straight into the hole, man, it was awesome, man. It was awesome. It was so cool. The crowd's reaction was amazing. It was just a great time. It's like I said, it's been a great week for sports. It's been an awesome week for sports. It was just such a great weekend. There was a couple of games on today too that I'd like to talk about, especially on soccer. Club America won yesterday. We did beat the worst team in the league, but it's all good. You're supposed to beat the worst team in the league. We beat them by 3 points. I am Club America all day when it comes to the Mexican soccer side. That's me. I'm an Aguilas, bro. I'm not no Chivas, man. Whack ass team. And then when it comes to the Premier League, I'm Liverpool. I'm Liverpool because of LeBron James. Let's be real. Let's be real, y'all. I root for Liverpool because of LBJ, man. Which they tied today with Man City. That was a great game too, man. Speaking back to levels, there's really is levels to this shit, man. You watch like MLS, La Liga, even the Mexican League, and then you watch the Premier League. It's a whole different level, man. Like their passing is so much crisper. Their dribbling, they're physical as hell. Like the Premier League, everybody knows that shit is the most physical freaking league in the whole world, bro. When it comes to soccer, it's hard, man. It's really hard. But yeah, that was a great game. Barcelona won again today. Or yeah, they did win again. They won late. I believe it was 3-2. It was a great game. It came down at the very end. They scored, I believe, in the 94th minute. Great game there. Let me see here. Let me look. I believe the Champions League is going on right now too. Let me see here. Let me see some tables for you guys. So Man City in their first leg they won. Liverpool first leg they won. Villarreal won. Real Madrid. By the way, Real Madrid is smashing in their league in La Liga. I believe I seen their 72 points, and the next team is Barcelona, and they're behind 60. They got 60 points to Real Madrid 72. So I mean, they got quite a way to go there. Real Madrid, they played Chelsea again the second leg on Tuesday. You got Bayern and Villarreal second leg. That one's a lot closer, man. That one's a lot closer because it was only a 0-1 game, a 0-1 game, which Villarreal won, which is kind of really surprising. But that's the way it goes. That's the way sports are, man. You have your good days and you have your bad days. You just don't want to have your bad days on the worst day, when it's like a qualifying match or a championship match. It happens, man. It happens all the time. When you watch sports for so long, you never just like pencil it in because you never know what could happen. So-and-so could get hurt. Boneheaded plays get made. Like just shit could go haywire real quick. You know what I'm saying? And so you got those second legs going. You got Atletico Madrid, Man City on Wednesday. And, that's still a winnable game. It's 0-1. I believe Man City won that one, right? Yes. Man City won that one. And then you got Liverpool, Never Walk Alone. They play again on Wednesday as well, and they're up 3-1. So, Madrid and Liverpool are like they're in a good spot. They're in a real good spot. But like I said, you never know what can happen, man. You never know what can happen. And it is the Champions League, so you ain't playing there ain't no scrubs left, man. There ain't no scrubs left. You're playing the cream of the cream. They're the best teams, man. That's why they're always there. So we'll see what goes on down there. And I'll definitely keep you guys posted on all that stuff too. Like I said, I'll definitely keep on trying to get as many podcasts as I can out, as many episodes as I can. I'm just learning all this stuff as I go. So the whole editing, all that extra stuff, I have to learn all that on my own. Well, not on my own. I do have help. YouTube's been a lot of help. But if I have any friends that have done this and have some experience on it, help your boy out. Let's work together and let's see what we could build. Because I definitely want to be bringing out great quality to you guys and episodes a lot quicker. But like I said, I'm learning as I go. But I'll definitely get better at all this. My background will get better. Everything will just get better. This is just the beginning of this journey. It's going to be a great journey. And I'm so glad to have all you guys here. It's going to be a very positive one. A very good, very great for your mental health. Because that's honestly what I'm doing this for, man. I want to help everybody with their mental health. I want them to come here, have a great time. I want all you guys to communicate in the comments, get to know each other, just spread positivity, man. Anytime you know that someone's going through a hard time, just send them over here. Be like, just go to the ShoeBenders podcast, bro. Check them out. Go into the comment section, meet some people, make some friends. I mean, I just made friends with my life insurance. What's his name? Like, his name's Andrew. And he's just awesome. He's my agent. That's the word I was looking for, agent. He's awesome though. And we literally became friends that same day. It was just awesome. It was cool. He told me his whole backstory. He's from the UK. He went to Australia, moved over here to Vancouver, BC, which is just up north from us. And now he's on the East Coast in New York. I mean, he's doing it, man. He's living the dream, and it was just cool to hear, his story. It really motivated me, man. It really motivated me, and like I said, he was a great person, and I'm definitely gonna, send this out to him so that way he could share it and show his friends. And like I said, I just want to build this thing up so everybody comes here and we all have a great time. That's what I want everybody to come here for, is to have a great time. Let's talk sports. Let's talk, let's just have fun. Eventually, I'm gonna have my boys on this thing. And then we're really going to take this game over. But we're just all at a different, at a different steps right now. But eventually we're all gonna cross into the same path. And when we do, this thing's gonna go next level. Because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do this like Pat McAfee did. I'm trying to put all my boys on and have all of us do this and put out all the great content for you guys. All for you guys, man. Literally all for you guys. And but with that being said, I am going to wrap this first episode up, and I'm really excited to finally be doing this and to finally be, letting this episode out for all you guys to see. I love every single one of you guys. And if anybody hasn't told you yet, I'm proud of you, and keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. You're going to get where you need to be. It might not be as fast as you want it to be, but you're going to get there. Anything you want in this world, just throw it out into the universe, man. It will come back to you. Always put out more positive into the universe than negative. You'll always get what you put out to the universe back. Put all that positivity out, man. There's a lot of negative right now. A lot. I know there is. But we're all going to combat that, man. We're all going to do it. We're all going to unite together, man. We're going to move. We're going to make this movement, man. This positive movement, man. And we're going to change the world one person at a time, one group at a time, one country at a time. We're going to do this. It's going to be done. But I'm not going to be able to do this by myself. That's why I need every single one of y'all. And it's going to be a great time, y'all. So let's grow. Let's have a great time. And I'll see you guys on the next one.
Yeah, there's no time to waste, no time to waste, no time to waste, no. There's no time to waste, no time to waste, no time to waste, so you better do the damn thing right. You only got one life.